Susan Gardner, and I'm an accredited Chrysalis Effect practitioner specialising in supporting clients in recovery from ME, chronic fatigue syndrome, and fibromyalgia. This means I work very differently from most other practitioners. You may have already experienced the isolation of struggling with fatigue or fibromyalgia pain and know firsthand how demoralising it can be when you've tried lots of different therapies and not achieved the results you'd hoped for. That's why I work in a fully integrated way alongside the Chrysalis Effect online recovery pathway, because I see every day the tremendous difference this can make in accelerating a return to health and get back on track with life. Also, it means while we work together, it's my job to ensure that you know exactly which phase of recovery you're in, supporting you in a tailored way to address areas of recovery at the appropriate time for you, so you get what you need when you need it as you progress. I mentioned that I work very differently to most practitioners, and this is where the difference comes in. With the Chrysalis Effect, you'll have access to a 24/7 wraparound support within a step-by-step proven recovery pathway, plus the added benefit of a positive recovery community. You'll probably be wondering now, how does this work? And how will I know if it's right for me? Well, to answer those questions, I've a clip here from a recovery session that Chrysalis Effect founder Elaine Wilkins delivered recently, which she can help to answer those questions and more. By the way, Elaine is fully recovered herself from ME. We join her now as she explains the Chrysalis Effect recovery pathway on a live video session.
The Chrysalis Effect really was designed to stop the hop. You know, we talk about practitioner hopping, and I think anyone that's been unwell and has come away with having had their tests show up negative, and doctors may be saying, well, there's nothing showing here. It sends you on this desperate search for answers, doesn't it? And so many of you will relate to that. And trying this and feeling a little bit better, trying that, feeling a bit worse, thinking you found the answer only to find that there's a relapse a bit further along down the road, and the disappointment and the frustration that comes with that. Googling things. I remember having one of those horrible books about ME and reading it like a Bible, having it by the side of the bed. What it did was it made me completely symptom focused. And so I was looking at all the symptoms and ticking off the ones that I had, and then adding to them as time went on. So really behind the Chrysalis Effect was we wanted to make sure that people had understanding of what had caused their symptoms, what to do about them, and have the absolute right support, and to be surrounded by people who fully recovered. So that's social proof. And I believe that if we could put all of those things together, then we could and empower people in their recovery, but more than that, to take away the searching and the energy that we use, and the frustrated energy and all that roller coaster that comes with not having the answers and understanding what to do next. So that was sort of what it was designed to do. So I'm just going to go through and remind us what we have and how it works, so that if you find that you're still in that mindset where even if you found the Chrysalis Effect, you're still spending a lot of additional time going online, looking for things, checking out things, obviously you can absolutely do that. But I just wanted to reassure you of what we've got in place, so that maybe you can relax and use your energy to move towards your recovery in a focused way with the right support. So what we have in place is a recovery model. And what that means is that we know through the research and 11 years of working, getting people through to full vibrant recovery, is that there are 8 key areas that have to be addressed. And if you leave a piece of that out and don't address one of those, or think that you don't need to, then there's usually a situation where you get stuck, you plateau, or symptoms reoccur. We've also got the phases of recovery, the 6 phases, so that you can identify which specific phase of recovery, and it's like a route map really. And then the other thing that I think is super important is that in the Chrysalis Effect, because we have so many people who fully recovered, and getting on for 4,000 health profiles now, what we absolutely know is the profile of person that succumbs to these illnesses, the predispositions, the things that predispose you. We understand the genetics of sensitivity and sort of A-type driven behaviour. So we also know the mindset that can develop in recovery, and I can identify all the obstacles and know what they are. Understanding the causes and what it takes to recover, for me, was the key, and that was what we wanted to have central to the Chrysalis Effect. And then this is the other bit. How many of you have tried every therapy you can think of and ended up disappointed? Because, as much as people want to help, if they think that their one therapy is the answer, then that really is misguided. And, we have a huge team of therapists who will admit that, they were trained to think that their therapy potentially was the answer to most things. And it's only through specialising that they've recognised how working together gets the results. So what we also have is an extensive multidisciplinary team of recovery specialists. And what that means is that everybody is adding to that knowledge and sharing that knowledge. So whatever your query, upset, worry, concern is, there is an expert in this team that already has that piece of knowledge, that piece of information. And so if I don't have it, I know someone who has. So our experts cover things like nutrition, naturopathy, osteopathy, counselling, psychotherapy, CBT, hypnotherapy, homeopathy, EFT, matrix re-imprinting, kinesiology, reflexology. We have masters in Reiki, and we have trauma release experts. We have art therapists, and I have only just literally given you the tip of the iceberg here. But this is the difference, and this is the thing I really want you to get, is that when therapists come to us to specialise in chronic fatigue or to become part of our referral team, is every single one of them, regardless of all that training and all that expertise in that area, they have been through fully accredited training in the recovery from ME, CFS and fibromyalgia. So there is a cohesion amongst that expert team that they've all gone through either the foundation level, so they've all got that, and some of them have gone on to niche and specialise and only work with clients and patients that have got ME, chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. So you can see down there those logos, that is our accrediting bodies. And I absolutely know that we were the first ever to put together accredited training in the recovery from ME, chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. So I just want to give you that reassurance. So this is sometimes why when you come onto the recovery pathway and you're already working with a therapist outside of the Chrysalis Effect, it's sometimes why you get stuck and you plateau, because they may be fantastic at the piece they do, but they will not have this whole understanding around the things that I've just mentioned, the phases, the protocols, to be able to tailor it to where you're at in your phases of recovery. All of that will be missing from their education. That's the sort of expertise side of things, and the models and the structure. So what resources do we have? Because what we wanted to create was wraparound support. So we have a focused recovery pathway that covers all of those 8 areas. It's step by step, it's incremental, and it's like that on purpose, because when people come in, they want to rush through and get better so they can get their life back. But it's about actually becoming a human being and letting go of becoming a human doing. And it takes time to slow down, to give yourself the gift of recovery, and to do that, it needs to be embedded over time. There's things that have to change: our mindset, our beliefs, our behaviours, the values that we're honouring, and that's all part of the recovery pathway. At the moment, we've got the weekly coffee mornings, which will probably continue beyond the COVID thing, because it's been fabulous. It's where we all get together and share and get to see each other, because it's very isolating going through a fatigue journey. Then we've got the webinars like today. Now, the thing with the recovery pathway is it is constantly being updated through the power of our webinars, our experts. So whatever's going on out there in the ME, chronic fatigue and fibro world, you can bet your life we're at the cutting edge and we bring it to you. That's why you don't need to be going and looking and searching and spending more time on computers than you absolutely need to. Then we have our specialist sound bites, and they're little 5-minute bites that are really helping to, if you just want to tap into something quick, then our practitioners are doing some fabulous ones on everything from nutrition to meditation to all, whatever is needed really. And then we've got buddying up. You'll see all the time in the Facebook group how we link people who, if you come in and you're having a problem, we've done it just this week with someone who was really, really struggling. And I knew immediately who that person needed to connect with, because that person's been in their shoes, exactly their shoes, and has overcome it. And so that really helps to support people to see, oh my goodness, it's normal. This is normal for where I'm at, and I know it's possible to recover. So then, of course, as I said, we've got all our experts in there for if you want to work one-on-one with that expert. That usually means that you work with a cohesive team there, and they are all, trained and accredited in recovery. Then the Facebook group is where you get your daily questions answered. The Facebook group is where you can share how you're feeling. It's positive. It's always positive. So it's about letting us know what you need so that we can immediately, in an agile way, point you in the direction. Watch this webinar, or link you with someone, and so that you can continue that conversation. You're going to get so much support and encouragement in there, and you are surrounded by people who, just like me, were bedbound but are fully recovered from fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue. We let go of doing a lot of things that we love doing, and we find that highly sensitive people, usually part of that profile, are creative, find it very difficult to regulate their emotional response. They're wired to be hypervigilant. So we've got the Creativity Hub, which is great fun in there. We've even got an artist in residence, a fabulous Rebecca Bush, who's been doing some great sessions for us, and really encouraging people to get into their, any type of artistic endeavor or creative endeavor, be it photography, drawing, whatever it is. And then we have our yoga hub that we've introduced, which means we can all be together, and it means that you've got access to yoga that is actually aligned with the 6 phases of recovery, and live sessions where we can all be together and do our online yoga. And of course, you've got loads of inspiration and understanding. And as I said, it's cutting edge. So we've also been giving information on COVID and allaying fears around that. We've had many members of our community who have actually had the COVID virus, and that big worry that if I've got chronic fatigue, I'll never be able to recover from COVID, and the terror that came into everybody's minds and hearts, we could allay that fear, because we've had members of our community who, yes, they've been had it and they've come through it, and we've been part of that journey with them as well. I really am so grateful for the community and the way everyone shares and supports each other, and immensely proud of what we've created here, because my sort of vision was to leave no stone unturned, to bring everything in that someone needed to recover from chronic fatigue.
I'm so pleased that you now have an insight into the extensive support available for you when you choose Chrysalis Effect Recovery. As you saw, the recovery pathway offers a risk-free 30-day trial, so you can see if it's a good fit And as a recovery specialist, I offer a no obligation complimentary health profile review. So, there you'll learn which phase of recovery you're in, identify next steps so you can be in a position to make choices that are right for you and your recovery.